Let me tell you something I've seen many times in my work. A kind, thoughtful person in their 60s or 70s sits across from me looking frustrated. I eat less than I did in my 50s, I walk every day, but this belly just won't go away. And I understand. It's not your fault. What's really happening is inside. Your hormones change with age, but the good news is we can gently help them get back on track step by step. Sometimes the very first thing we need to look at isn't food or exercise, it's stress. Yes, even if you don't feel stressed, your body might be holding on to tension. As we get older, our natural stress hormone, cortisol, doesn't calm down like it used to. It can stay elevated longer, even after a small worry or a bad night's sleep. And when cortisol is high for too long, it tells your body to store fat, especially around the belly. That's why for many older adults, no matter how light the meals are, the weight around the waist just won't move. But there's a gentle way to begin changing that. I remember one gentleman, Joe, he was 68 and living in Des Moines, Iowa. Sweet guy, walked his dog every morning and cooked most of his meals at home. But he came to me puzzled. His belly had gotten noticeably rounder over the past year, and nothing he did seemed to help. He wasn't overeating and he stayed active, but he felt tired all the time and had trouble sleeping. We ran some simple checks, and sure enough, his cortisol levels were consistently high, especially in the morning. It wasn't anxiety or depression, it was just the body aging and holding on to stress in a quiet, sneaky way. What helped Joe wasn't a pill or a strict diet. It was teaching his body how to relax again. One of the simplest things I recommend is starting your day with 10 minutes of slow, steady breathing. Just sit near a window, close your eyes, and focus on gently inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 6. Doing this right after you wake up signals your nervous system that it's safe to relax. At night, a warm cup of chamomile tea can also help bring cortisol down before bed. It may sound small, but these moments add up. You deserve to feel calm in your body again, like sitting beside a quiet lake in the early morning where everything feels still. That's what your body can feel like too. It starts with small choices made gently every day. Now let's move on to something that surprises a lot of people, feeling hungry even when you've just eaten. This often isn't about willpower or eating too fast. After 60, your body's ability to hear one particular hormone, leptin, gets weaker. Leptin is what tells your brain, hey, I'm full, I've had enough. But as we age, the signals don't come through clearly. So even if you're eating just like you used to, your body may still feel like it needs more, and that often leads to belly fat creeping in. I once worked with a woman named Carol, 72, from Asheville, North Carolina. She was sharp, independent, and loved gardening. She told me she didn't snack much, didn't eat late, but still couldn't understand why she was always hungry after meals, especially in the evenings. Her daughter thought it was boredom, but Carol insisted it felt physical, like her body was missing something. We looked at her routine and noticed she was grazing throughout the day, never really having solid meal breaks. Her body didn't get the chance to regulate hunger and fullness clearly. So we tried a small experiment together. What often helps in cases like Carol's is keeping meals within a set 10-hour window, for example breakfast at 8 a.m. and finishing dinner by 6 p.m. This gives your body time to rest and reset its hormonal signals overnight. I also encouraged her to include some good protein, like eggs, yogurt, or a little chicken, in every meal because protein helps leptin do its job better. Within 2 weeks, Carol told me she didn't feel that nagging hunger anymore and started losing weight slowly, especially around her middle. You don't need to count every bite. One of the most powerful things you can do is simply give your body a rhythm, a time to eat and a time to rest. That alone can bring so much balance back. Think of it like a song. The quiet pauses are just as important as the notes. Your body hears those pauses. It's not about eating less, it's about helping your body listen better. Here's another piece of the puzzle that often hides in plain sight: your blood sugar. After 60, many people notice they feel more tired. After meals, crave sweets more often, or gain weight without changing what they eat. That's usually because the body doesn't handle insulin, the hormone that moves sugar out of your blood and into your cells, as efficiently as it used to. When insulin isn't working well, sugar stays in the bloodstream longer, and the body stores it as fat, especially around the belly. This slow drift into insulin resistance happens quietly, but the effects build up over time. I remember talking to Harold, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Sacramento, California. He wasn't diabetic, never had major health issues, but lately he'd started feeling sluggish after lunch and noticed his pants fitting tighter. He said, "I'm not eating differently, so what's going on?" We looked closer and realized he often ate bread or pasta first in his meals, and he rarely walked after eating. His body was getting overwhelmed by sugar spikes, even from normal food. We made a small change that made a big difference. What often works really well is changing the order of how you eat your meals. Start with vegetables, like a small salad, steamed broccoli, or sliced cucumbers. Then have your protein and save starches or sweets for last. This slows the rise in blood sugar and helps insulin work more smoothly. If you can, take a short 10-15-minute walk after lunch or dinner, even just pacing around the house. It helps your muscles use up that sugar before it turns into fat. You don't have to give up your favorite foods. Sometimes it's not what you eat, it's how and when you eat it. These tiny shifts can protect your energy, your weight, and your peace of mind. It's like giving your body a gentle hand to hold as it does its work. Not rushing, just guiding. You're not broken, you're adjusting. And that's a sign of strength. Another thing I often tell people is this: your muscles matter more than you think, especially after 60. Many don't realize that our bodies naturally lose muscle with age, and this slows down the metabolism. Less muscle means fewer calories burned, even at rest. But there's another layer. Muscle loss also affects your hormones, especially the ones that help burn fat, like growth hormone. Without enough activity to stimulate it, this hormone stays low and the body shifts into storage mode, keeping fat, especially around the belly. I'll never forget Ellen, 67, from Spokane, Washington. She was active in her garden, did a bit of stretching, but told me she felt weaker than a few years ago. Her arms felt softer, her posture changed, and her belly kept growing despite no big changes in her meals. She said, "I feel like I'm shrinking and expanding at the same time." We ran a simple test and found she had lost several pounds of muscle over the past 2 years. Not from illness, just from aging and not using those muscles enough. So we added something simple to her routine that truly changed her body and mood. What often helps is adding light strength movements 2 or 3 times a week. You don't need a gym. Use your own body. Stand and sit from a chair 10 times. Hold 2 cans of beans and lift them slowly, or do gentle wall push-ups. Just 15 minutes a session is enough to wake up those sleeping hormones and remind your body it still needs strength. Think of your muscles like quiet engines. They're still there, just waiting for a little spark. You're not too old to get stronger. In fact, this is the perfect time to remind your body how capable it still is. There's one more hormone that often gets overlooked, but it's deeply connected to your weight, your energy, and even your mood, and that's melatonin. Most people think of melatonin as just the sleep hormone, but it does much more than help you fall asleep. It also helps regulate metabolism, repair cells, and support healthy fat burning overnight. After age 60, your body naturally produces less melatonin, and that can lead to shallow sleep, nighttime snacking, and slower recovery, all of which make belly fat harder to lose. I had a wonderful client named Frank, 73, from Tampa, Florida. He told me he hadn't had a full night's sleep in years. He'd fall asleep okay, but wake up 2 or 3 times a night, and by morning he felt groggy. He drank more coffee to push through, and by the evening he was too wired to rest. It became a loop. We looked at his routine and saw he watched the news late at night, kept his bedroom light on, and sometimes had snacks right before bed. His body was never getting the signal to release melatonin naturally, so we worked on creating a new kind of evening. What often helps is building a gentle wind-down ritual. About an hour before bed, turn off bright screens, phones, TV, tablets, and switch to soft, warm lighting. Play calming music, sip on warm chamomile or tart cherry juice, which helps trigger melatonin. You can also try taking a short walk at sunset to sync your body with the day's natural rhythm. These small signals add up. Think of your evening, like the landing of a plane. It needs time, quiet, and a smooth path. You deserve deep rest, not just sleep. That's when your body does its healing. And that healing helps melt away what no diet can fix. If any part of this spoke to you, even just one small piece, I hope you'll try it. Not all at once, just one gentle change at a time. Leave a comment and tell me which part felt the most helpful. I read every word. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and the little bell. I make these videos just for you. Remember, you are not alone in this. You're not too late, too old, or too far gone. You're still becoming, and that's a beautiful thing.